Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly. And I've got a good one today because your kids are awful. You're going to pay for that. Okay? So, as usual, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Today we have a sponsor, Dr. Gundry. But man, oh man, let's get right into it today. Okay? Noisy kids in a restaurant. Your kids are not behaving. They're being loud, they're being disrespectful. Well, one restaurant has a cure for this. They've got the perfect solution. Toccoa Riverside Restaurant, about 100 miles north of Atlanta, put together a program that they're going to charge you $50 for excessive noise or if your kids are a headache. Okay? And I was like, when somebody said that, I'm like, no way. You can't have that. So sure enough, this is all over Reddit. It's all over places that people are sharing it, the pictures and the stories of where the parents are just fed up and they're getting charged all these ridiculous fees. Now, let's face it, guys, when you go out to dinner, you want a nice experience. I don't care if you go to Applebee's. You just don't want to be disrupted by a crying baby. It's like, somebody smoking on a plane or a crying baby just making all that noise. You just don't want the headache of that. Now, here's the thing. Growing up, I have two kids that are now adults, but we had a rule, okay? And we had what we called inside voices, and we had all these different things that if you kids want to go out and have a good time, you need to behave. And I'm telling you this right now, okay? I've said this before. I wanted 4 kids, okay? Because my daughter was the easiest child on the planet Earth to run. You could take her anywhere. She would listen. She would behave. Everybody thought she was a gem. Then we had my son. And my son would break everything, throw everything. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Hey, look, water spills. I don't have to clean it up. You clean it up, Dad. You know what I mean? He was that kid, okay? So listen, buddy. Wow, look at these guys. They're just taking the fish. Listen, buddy, we're never going to go out. No, I'm going to get you sitters. So what we would do is we would get sitters and we would make it so they wouldn't go out. And he would be, you're not taking us? No, you're not behaving. So it got to the point that he finally got it, okay? But they were never disruptive and I never would have gotten charged a $50 fee. I would have lost my mind for this, okay? So it's gotten completely out of control. Now, understand this. I understand if it's a real high-end restaurant and you just don't want children there, but every time I see, the couple, and you can just tell the kids are, 5, 6, 3 to 7, in that range. And the husband's, one of them's just spent, okay? You know what I mean? They're just tired and they're out. They just want to drink, maybe have a glass of wine and not have the kids freak out. And the kids are just freaking out, okay? And every time, I've done this for years, I'll just go, hey, I've got great news. My son's 22 and he still does that. So you got that to look forward to for the rest of your life. And they, okay? Either they laugh or they sigh or they want to throw me through a window, okay? These fees are getting worse and worse and worse. And with this, we saw more people send me stuff that was crazy where people went to Europe and they said, hey, listen, do you have a knife? Can you cut this cake in half? And they charged them $22 to cut a cake. Okay? Now we've seen split charges and things like that for fees, but it gets ridiculous. And then, what you're seeing is desperate restaurants like in Greece where they would sit there and say, hey, come eat here. It's a tourist spot. You'll really like it. And then they would charge the people $600 to $800 to have a sandwich and a salad for 2 people to eat. It was just insane so they could take advantage of the tourists. And what are the tourists going to do? Because they're in a foreign land, well, hey, if you complain, we'll take your passport, things like that these people get threatened with. But you're starting to see people fight back for stuff like this. And this is what I get a kick out of, is that there is, the surcharge that we're seeing here of, hey, listen, we put an automatic tip of 15% on our bill. There's a great story out of New York Post over this. And the problem with it is that you pay the bill and the tip's been paid and the waiter's been paid. But the problem is you don't know that the waiter's been paid So you sit there and you give the guy another tip, and they just laugh all the way to the bank, and you're a schmo for doing that. And people don't do this. You need to scrutinize your bills. You need to look at this stuff because it is getting more and more of a problem on a weekly basis. As these restaurants have more problems, they're going to figure out ways and try to do everything they can. Man, these guys are just cleaning up with the fish over here. They're going to try to figure out ways to charge us and take advantage of us. And, you know, California passed that law that says that you can't, you know, charge people for things like this. But the problem with it is that people are not catching it. I got a text. I have a few cell phones, okay? One of my cell phones is with T-Mobile. And I get a text last night in the T-Mobile account that I don't use. And it says, hey, congratulations, your account is going to go automatically to paperless, you know, billing. And I'm like, you're out of your mind. No, it's not. Well, you need to go to a T-Mobile branch to opt out of this. You can't do this over the phone, which is ridiculous, guys. The idea with this is they make it so difficult that you don't want to do it. But this is the reason you want to do this. David, a subscriber, a loyal subscriber, wrote me in, you know, has written me a bunch of times before, but said, Dan, I just got my cell phone fixed. And I got the bill in the mail and realized that, wow, the fee was higher than I thought it was going to be. And so I went back and went online, and they had the bill and he could pull the bill. The guy that fixed his cell phone put a $60 tip on the bill for himself. No, didn't say, hey, do you want to tip me? Put $60 on it for fixing his cell phone. Okay? No, guys. No. So, again, your kids, you know, come on, your kids are terrible. You know they are. And you know your grandkids are loud and they just complain too much. And, okay. I can't stand parents that do this. Because I never let my kids do this. Leave the restaurant, we're leaving. And I was trying to think about this. I asked another person about today, how many times you take your kids and leave and go home? Everybody says, oh, one time. We did one time. And if the kids are remotely behaved, that's the end of it, guys. That is the end of that at that point. So, have you guys experienced this? This is just getting worse and worse and worse right now. And you're starting to see all these different charges. And as I research this, as I go around the world with all this stuff, it gets worse, guys. It just, you know, and the problem is when people travel and they're nervous and you're in a place you don't know and you're starting to swipe your credit card, you get ripped off. I hate that, okay? And, you know, one thing that I fought and I did something about was, for those of you that have been to a stadium lately and you swipe your credit card, they spin the kiosk around when you buy that $15 beer or $11 soda, and they, you know, it says, do you want to leave a tip? Well, I was asking last season about it, not this season, last season. I said, hey, do you get these? How do you get these tips? Oh, I'm a temp employee. I don't get the tips. Well, who am I tipping? I'm tipping you, John, for your service. Oh, well, we don't get them. It goes to the other people. Okay, well, I contacted Anaheim Stadium, where the Angels play, and lost my mind and said, you know, you're not going to do this. I want number one, I want the money back that you did and everything I've ever purchased. I'll get you the credit card receipts. Well, no. We'll make sure. So sure enough, they had a mandatory meeting and gave people a letter. You're all getting the tips from now on. But that's what it took for that to happen. Let's talk about our sponsor, Dr. Stephen Gundry. You know, people think that the secret to losing weight is a low-carb diet, low-fat, eating probiotics, and that really has nothing to do with it. You know, the older we get, we have challenges with our diet. And what you can do is you can get yourself eating right and doing it the right way. Dr. Gundry has put together a video that you can watch where he explains this. It's called caloric bypass. And let's face it, we need an edge the older we get. You know, you may feel sluggish, you may feel joint pain, you may feel It's just part of being old. I've got belly fat and this is part of being old. No, it's not, guys. It's not. I know a woman that just, she competed in a triathlon right now, and she's 55 years old. You can do something about it. Not that you want to do that, but you want to eat right. You want to find out what Dr. Gundry's got to offer. Take a look at thehealthyfat.com/Dan. Use the link below and watch Dr. Gundry's video on what to eat and how to eat properly. And it will make a huge difference for you. And it will help you lose weight. And it will make you healthier, feel better, sleep better, live better, get your mood right. But take a look at thehealthyfat.com/Dan. Use the link below and check out Dr. Gundry today. Dan's got food. I just wanted to do a quick video on this subject for you. And, couple things. Last time I was in Los Angeles, I went and ate at a restaurant at the Grove. And my daughter was going to take me to the Netflix pop-up restaurant, but the writers were striking out in front of it. So we said, we're not going to cross the picket line and we're going to eat at a restaurant. And I'm glad we did, because Renee, who was a waiter at the restaurant, said, listen, you've got to help us, Dan, because we're getting nailed and they're adding all these excess fees onto people's checks, and then they get furious with the wait staff, and they don't want to pay us, and they don't want to give us a tip. Hey, how dare you charge me this? What is this nonsense? Like it's the waiter's fault. And things for insurance and health fee, things like that. It was ridiculous. John and Vinny's restaurant, 2 servers there out of Calabasas were so mad. They have an 18% service charge added onto the check. And people are just to hear with that. And they said, listen, we're not going to tolerate this. So the wait staff sued the restaurant saying, you're killing us. Now, this is clearly a high-end restaurant where these guys make good money serving people. And here's the thing, my son is a college student, and he got some solid advice from people about being a waiter, and working. Go work at a high-end restaurant. Go work at a place that's going to let you work Friday night and Saturday night and peak hours when people go out, drink, buy oysters and buy steaks and have a good time and spend a lot of money. And he got to bring food. He's a food runner. Okay, hey, here's your steak. How's that look? Look good? You know what I mean? And would make $300 in a night doing this. Well, imagine these people at Don and Vinny's. I think it's Don and Vinny's. I think it's St. John. Anyways, Don and Vinny's in Calabasas, and these guys are making a killing. And then they get hit with that 18% fee, and they're going to blame everybody. So have you paid these fees? I always love when you guys send me this stuff. Send it to hello@iallegedly.com. Just a real quick video, and it's about to start raining. So onward and upward, guys. I will see you guys very soon, and share your thoughts on all this stuff.